an up-and-coming star in chaos when a trustworthy friend and man who thrived on chaos encountered the most shocking betrayal imaginable. Things took a startling turn when he saw the last picture of Erica Banks in the same hotel room. He went crazy when he saw her displaying heartbreak. So, let's dig into their story and find out the truth. I can't be serious with her. So, she thinks I play too much, like I'm a joke, and she thinks I'm a jerk. That's her reason, but my reason is that you don't take anything seriously. Activate. Don't activate that individual. Don't activate that side of yourself. Don't act like you want to change your name. I want to change my name. That's something I'm researching. Like, activate. Like I want to be like an Alaman Aura Rising, rap star and a household name on reality TV. Chaos had always been the kind of person who flourished in the chaos of his surroundings and was aware that everyone was watching him as he rose from lowly beginnings to carve out a position in a glamorous and brutal industry. Despite the never-ending hustle, Chaos took great pride in his loyalty, whether it was to his friends or his family. Relationships, which explains why he was attracted to Erica Banks like a moth to a flame when they first met. It appeared that Erica and Chaos were destined to be a power couple, but they weren't just making waves in the rap scene. They were a dynamic duo that was talented, ambitious, and unapologetically bold. Fans were in awe as the couple frequently flaunted their travels, celebrated their lives, and showed the world their undeniable chemistry. However, while the public loved their budding romance and unsettling reality brewed behind closed doors, Khaotic understood how cutthroat the industry could be, a world full of distractions and people who would do anything to get what they wanted. He was a man laser-focused on his job, and Erica had her own aspirations to pursue. Perhaps he was overanalyzing things, but those persistent doubts started to sneak into his head over time. Despite his unflinching trust in her, the core of their relationship was being eroded by street whispers and speculations about other men. They witnessed directly how difficult it is to keep a link in the face of spotlight. It wasn't an easy feat, but what was happening felt more intimate and chaotic. One late night, as he was working on his most recent project in the studio, his phone buzzed on the table. At first, he assumed it was just another insignificant notification that he could ignore. But then he noticed the when Chaos opened the message. His curiosity was piqued by a series of pictures that would rock his world. The first image featured Lil Scrappy, a fellow rapper and someone Chaos considered both a friend and a colleague. However, the second image started to paint an unsettling picture that no words could adequately describe. And then came the final photo, the one that hit like a sledgehammer. Erica Banks in the same hotel. The message was chilling in its simplicity. You need to see this at the same time. But you also need to be careful who you let next to you, because this in the Bahamas has to do with Amy. Who you 5? Space as Lil Scrappy when he finally yelled out treachery. The sound seemed to echo endlessly, as if the walls themselves were mocking his pain. His mind went blank, unable to process the avalanche of emotions crashing down on him. How could this have happened for what felt like hours? Of Khaotic sitting, her head resting on his shoulder, looking completely at ease. The scene was intimate. The two were laughing, sipping drinks, and sitting far too close. It was clearly betrayal in its rawest form. His gut rumbled as if he had been punched directly in the stomach, and he was still staring at his phone. The hit to his belly was so severe that it left him hollow. He attempted to make sense of what he was seeing, but the pieces would not fit. The truth was so obvious that there was no way to reverse what had been revealed to him. He wanted to confront Erica immediately, but his gut told him to wait, because the last thing he wanted was to react hastily. The betrayal wasn't just any man, though, because Erica Banks had spent the night with Lil Scrappy, Khaotic man he had known for years, a man he had laughed with, worked with, and confided in as a friend. What am I doing here as a man, bro? If I just sit here and let a woman just run over me? Girl, like I'm not going to do it. about Erica's relationship with someone else. It was about the friendship being broken and the trust being broken. He experienced an unanticipated amount of anger and emotional pain, and during the night he felt the urge to call and text her to demand answers. However, he knew he couldn't do so until he had calmed down. The following day, Erica started texting and calling, but he remained silent, unwilling to hear her side, and the trust was gone. Hours later, Erica's calls became unrelentingly chaotic, even forcing him to answer. His heart raced and he didn't want to hear justifications, but she insisted that she and Scrappy had a harmless night out and nothing more. I looked at the pictures. Erica, how could you harm me like this? The call ended in tears and frustration because the betrayal was too much to handle. I love you and all the stuff. No, you do. And I love Saint. It's not okay. You got a woman who really loves you, don't you? You're right there. You're right there. His vulnerability broke through his usual confidence. I'm sorry, Khaotic. It's not what it seems. She begged. No, Erica. You don't understand, he yelled. You've betrayed me. You've destroyed everything. Social media followers and Swift fans were inundated with responses, and some admirers stood up for Erica. His heart was broken, but he didn't care what people thought, insisting that there was more to the story and that the images didn't necessarily show anything chaotic. The agony of betrayal persisted despite everything on the internet, and as the days went by, Khaotic withdrew and kept a low profile. He began to question everything, including his friendships, his relationship with Erica, and his role in the world, the business, which had once felt like a home, now felt like a hostile place. Trust was a luxury he no longer had in a place full of individuals who could betray him at any time. No matter how much he put into his craft, the wounds would always be there. In the weeks that followed, Erica attempted to get in touch, but he was so resolute that he spent countless evenings by himself, expressing his grief and rage via music. Since so much had changed and the trust he had lost couldn't be rebuilt, songs served as a cathartic release that helped him deal with the emotional fallout of betrayal. Industry whispers circulated, but people no longer gave a damn. So Scrappy stayed quiet to avoid conflict. After months of recovering and removing himself from the spotlight, the anguish subsided, but the scar persisted. He turned his attention back to his coworkers and mental health, realizing that loyalty is brittle, even in a society that is based on trust. Although tragedy had altered him, it hadn't destroyed him. Erica Banks used to be thinking that she was going to break my bank. Okay, and that was not happening. I was giving her small budgets, but she wanted to go over, so I said, get what? A small budget to me might be a large budget to somebody else, but it was a large budget to her. As I mentioned earlier, the budget is realistic, and real for me, but you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and you won't be able to keep up with them off my